Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp, MGI and the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected several high-grade gold intersections, including 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. Additional drill targets on the LH property have been identified by a 2018 drone airborne magnetic survey to further evaluate a pyrrhotite-enriched gold-bearing system. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick, Senior Editor at WeissRatings.com. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Sean, are the markets truly breaking out? Did we have enough of a correction? And why are they attracting investment?
Well, if you mean the broad markets like
yes.
the major stock indices,
yes,
I think they're coming up to overhead resistance, and that's going to be running out of steam soon. Now, I have been bearish for a while, but I haven't put on bearish positions because I've been waiting for the next breakdown. So we've actually been making some rather good gains, but we are keeping our focus on things that are more tangible. So it's a really nice rally in stocks, which seems to be Fed-fueled, and I just don't think that it'll have legs in even the intermediate term. I think it's really due for a hard correction, either caused by maybe a shift in the Fed position, though that's not likely, or more likely bad news on the a China trade front, where they keep talking about good news and then they never produce any good news, or if the Brexit, that is Britain leaving the Euro economic zone, if that goes from bad to worse in a hurry, that could also weigh on the markets. There are some other things as well, but those are the kind of things that I'm watching right now.
Yes, they keep demanding that Theresa May, the British Prime Minister, come up with a better deal. And every time she proposes something, they vote it down. Do they even know what they want?
No, because they were sold the idea of Brexit on a lie. They were promised a lot of things which could not be delivered. And then the people who made those promises promptly skipped town. And so they're off on the public speaker circuit, ringing up the cash register, leaving other people to actually deal with the mess they created. So obviously they need a new vote. I don't know if they're going to get one. As you said, it seems like no matter what she proposes, the members of Parliament do not like it. So that seems like a very tough situation to be in. You can see why a whole rash of companies have actually announced that they'll either be leaving Britain or else they'll be scaling back operations in Britain, simply because it's so unpredictable what's going to happen there that they have a business year to plan, and that's hard to do when you don't know if the company, you don't know if the country you're operating in can actually interact with the rest of Europe the way that it normally does.
Sure. Dyson vacuum cleaners is moving to Singapore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good example. Also, do you feel that money that normally would be invested in Britain may be headed to the U.S. stock exchanges?
Actually, I saw a fund manager on Bloomberg this morning say exactly that. Now, part of the reason is because they were overweight Europe. They were looking for a rally. I don't know how much of it they got. But so they're paring back what they have, and one of the places they are putting money is in North America. Personally, though, I think people should be looking at Canada more than the U.S., simply because of the rally we see developing in the hard commodities, things like gold and silver and oil and stuff like that. That should all help the Canadian dollar rather nicely. And so I'm looking for a bottom in the Canadian dollar versus the U.S. dollar, and I think that investments in Canada, as long as, they'd have to be the right investments, but you certainly can make those. I think they could do very well over the next year or so.
What about Canadian marijuana stocks?
We are invested in Canadian marijuana stocks. They're like, horizontal move right now after having a great week last week. So we'll just have to see how things work out. But I think the right names you can do extremely well. One thing that the recent announcement by Canopy Growth and Aurora showed us is that the legal marijuana market in Canada has actually gotten off to a slow start. And so that means that, there could be more good news ahead as they get into their groove. So I would watch that. One thing that they will have to struggle with is pricing pressure as more production comes online. And so definitely keep an eye on that. But there are ancillary businesses which can do quite well in things like packaging and distribution and stuff like that. And so people should be looking at say, testing equipment. Those could probably do really well. You just have to be very picky, and you have to understand that any money you're putting to work in that industry right now is at higher risk than if you were, say, buying an oil company. So it's not for all your money. It's not even for a big portion of your money, but it's for the money that you don't mind taking a risk with.
Well, so far the rollout, even though it was legal last October, has been very slow. There are a few legal stores, and the ones that are open have very little supply to sell. They say it's going to take 3 years to get things up to normal, so if you're expecting a quick return, although a lot of them are selling paraphernalia, so apparently there's still some black market pot out there.
Well, yes, there is black market because there isn't enough legal supply, which is the thing like, say, the CEO of Aurora Cannabis touched on when he was talking about it. And like he said, we'll be ramping up for years to actually supply the legal market. Now, if you had hesitation about this market being overdone in any kind of short term, that should take it away from you, because that's not what he's seeing at all. He's seeing a continued ramp up. It definitely was a slow start, like I said, like you just confirmed. And so they see things ramping up for quite some time.
Could you see whoever the U.S. candidate is to run for the Democrats for president being in favor of legal marijuana?
Well, some already have. It all depends on the one.
Out of the 800 so far.
Yeah, I know, right. It's like me and everybody else. We've all filed our papers to run for president of the United States because it's the thing to do now. But yeah, absolutely. In a crowded field, it really takes strong positions to stand out, and one strong position would be legalization of marijuana.
What would that mean for U.S. coffers, and would you save a lot of money on law enforcement?
I don't see how we'd save any money on law enforcement. Now they'd have to catch everybody who's driving while under the influence of smoking marijuana. Ha ha! Right? They'll always find a way to do that. That would potentially cut down the prison population, so I'm not sure if I'd invest in private prisons because they make a lot of coin on the fact that people get put in prison for nonviolent drug offenses, and surely, I mean, if there's any logic in this world, though every day I wake up and I stare at the ceiling and I say, no, there isn't any, but surely if there is any logic in this world, people who are in prison on nonviolent drug offenses, if marijuana is legalized, those people will go free. So You would think that would hit private prisons where it hurts. But besides that, I expect things will go on pretty much the way they are, except to, just really follow the example of, say, Colorado and Nevada. If marijuana is legalized properly, then there's a lot of tax revenue in it. If it's legalized improperly, California is an example here where they just buried people in red tape, then you aren't going to get nearly as much tax revenue as you might think. New Jersey is also following that path. They are talking about an insane tax levy on marijuana in Lake New Jersey, and I can't remember the exact figure, so I don't want to repeat it. People can look it up. But I mean, I'm sure when all the black market marijuana dealers saw that proposal, they high-fived each other, because that's what will keep the black market in business, is if you tax marijuana too much.
Well, one of the people here that's been a pot advocate for a long time, Jody Emery, said they should remember it doesn't cost any more to grow a marijuana plant than it does a cabbage. So, why are you selling it for hundreds when it's probably worth $8 or $9?
Well, there is an investment in like new equipment. And also
security.
It depends on it depends on the taxes that the farmers have to pay and all the regulations. I'm somehow thinking that depending on the state you're in, the marijuana growing industry is more heavily regulated than the cabbage growing industry.
Yeah.
So there is that. But at the same time, the reason we're seeing all this big investment into the area because people see a big fat profit margin. It is true that as it becomes more and more legal and more people enter the business, then the profit margins will go down. That's just a natural thing because more production will come online.
Coca-Cola is actively looking at infusing beverages with THC and other cannabis products, whereas Pepsi said they wouldn't, but Pepsi is closing plants. Coca-Cola said their profits were flat, but at least they weren't going down. So why two different visions from these major beverage companies?
I am not an expert on either Coca-Cola or Pepsi. I think that if Pepsi was smart, they would follow Coke and take the plunge.
Yeah, there is a difference between the two. Mm-hmm. We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
MGX Minerals is revolutionizing the new energy economy with patented lithium extraction technology, replacing traditional solar evaporation using low-cost, low-energy nanofiltration. The first system of this paradigm shift technology is currently being commissioned. MGX Minerals trades on the CSE, symbol XMG, the OTCQB, symbol MGXMF, and Frankfurt, symbol 1MG. For more information, visit our website, mgxminerals.com.
I'm Kelly Jennings, CEO of PowerBand Solutions. PowerBand is a cloud-based provider of auction, inventory, and finance solutions that make buying, selling, and financing vehicles more efficient. PowerBand Solutions trades on the TSX Venture Exchange symbol PBX and on the OTCQB symbol PWWPF and on Frankfurt symbol 1ZV. For more information, please visit us at powerbandsolutions.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Gold is the breakout there for real.
Yeah, I was actually had a chart for people who went to the EdelstenInstitute.com last week where I showed the bull flag that was developing in gold. That chart pattern has been realized. We have a price target of 1352, which is not that far away. And so that's an initial price target. Of course, it can go higher. But I'm actually seeing some action. Actually, the tell is in silver that we might be coming to a pullback sooner rather than later. I think when we get this next pullback, people should buy it. That's what I'm planning to do. My subscribers are already doing very well in gold. They have some great miners that are racking up gains. But I wouldn't mind more. And so when something's in a bullish move, like precious metals are, then you really want to buy those pullbacks, and so people should have their shopping list ready. Buy the next pullback. However, I wouldn't be a chaser. After all, if people are listening to your show, they probably own precious metal stocks already, right? I mean, that's simply the segment of the market you serve. But I know that people can get really panicked when they see prices go up, and they think, I have to buy. No, you don't. Just wait for that pullback. Pullbacks are inevitable, and when you get the pullback, then you can buy. So just have your shopping list ready.
Yes, well, we all know the slogan, buy low, sell high, but how many people actually do that?
Right, exactly. In fact, I was looking at the Supercycle investor track record, and there's one gold miner that we bought and sold 3 times. And if we'd held it like over the course of that, I mean, the gain would really have been massive. This just in the past year, but no, we've taken smaller gains because we buy and then we sell, which is what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's just smart. Just after something's had a good run to take those gains. You can always buy it back later, and that's what we do. But yeah, I mean, anybody who tells you that he bought the exact bottom and he sold the exact top is a liar. That's just been proven over and over again.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after the break.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO, on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp. is a Canadian-based mineral exploration project generator. The company currently holds multiple property interests in Ontario with joint venture partners and is seeking further joint venture partners for other drill-ready properties in our portfolio. For more information, please visit our website at rmroyalty.com or call me at 604-922-2030.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, are we still seeing good action in palladium and platinum?
Oh, well, palladium just broke out to a new high. I mean, yeah. And that's funny. Because we are seeing warning signs, especially from places like China, but also the North American market, that new car sales are under pressure and stuff like that. And since palladium is primarily used for catalytic converters in gasoline-powered cars, you would think that would really weigh on palladium prices. The expectation that those car sales will get even worse. However. And I just had an article about this that went up on the EdelsenInstitute.com just yesterday, and I hate to keep plugging it, but that's where the information is, so people should point their browsers there. The thing is, the supply squeeze in palladium is getting acute. There's been one for years, and it's really hitting the wall right now. And so, even though the outlook for car sales is actually turning more dour by the minute, the supply squeeze is so bad that the price keeps going higher. So that's a very enviable position to be in if you have a big old pile of palladium, that even though the outlook for your major user is not looking so hot, just the supply situation is just so tight that the price is heading much higher. Now, I gave one idea in my article at the EdelsenInstitute.com about how to play this. After a big run like this, we always say wait for a pullback. This is a time when you might want to. Then again, it just keeps running and running. I don't want to pick a top or a bottom in palladium right now. I do know that it's the hottest metal around, and so any pullbacks can probably be bought, because it's probably going to continue to do well, at least in the short and intermediate term.
Sean, what's your overall outlook then?
I'm quite bullish on commodities right now. And much of this is due to the longer-term supply-demand squeeze that has been building up for a while, added to the fact that China's trying to juice its economy, juice its economic growth. So it's announcing one huge infrastructure project after another, and that is actually increasing demand for things like copper and other metals and stuff like that. So that's on the commodity side. And I'm also bullish on oil, because even though, say, U.S. stockpiles have gone up for 5 weeks in a row, the price of the U.S. oil benchmark keeps going higher. And so when something goes higher in price in the face of what should be bearish news, that's actually a very bullish thing going on there. Now, that's due in part to OPEC cutbacks and stuff like that. But so, just to sum up, my outlook for commodities is quite good. For the markets, I think that the threat caused by the fact that they may not work out a deal with China, and that we may see a hard Brexit or a no-deal Brexit, which could then really send Europe into a recession, that should be hanging over the stock market. So I'm actually more bullish on stocks than I am on, I am actually more bullish on commodities than I am on stocks. I think stocks could be in for some trouble after a great run, which they've had recently, this bounce back that was fueled by the Fed. But I think that the top for stocks could be coming soon. I think that commodities, due to a number of forces which are separate from the stock market, could actually be looking at a pretty good run.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, Senior Editor for WeissRatings.com. You're listening to HowStreet.com Radio. Find us on Twitter at HowStreet, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. If you have questions for Sean or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com Radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com Radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.